So, tell me something terrible.
It'd be more fall than an 80-degree day in Michigan.
We did go to the Apple-Lumpkin Festival.
This is true. It was horrifically fallish, except everyone was sweaty.
I refuse to take my long sleeve shirts off. I don't care.
My long sleeve shirts? How many long sleeve shirts did you have?
I had one jacket on.
Okay.
And a tank top underneath it. And black pants and boots. Don't come at me. I don't give a fuck. It's the middle of October. It should not be 81 fucking degrees out.
It was warm. But we did that. And now we're following up with some more cursed objects.
Yep.
So we are in the full
We're gonna just
swing of things.
We're going to play fast and loose with the concept of objects with this topic.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't like, stuck in a hard line.
Good.
It has to be an object.
It has to be a solid thing you can
There's
touch.
also a good chance we're going to have to do a drink pause in the middle of this because we're both sitting at like 25%.
We are.
And we're not in a place where we should be like, let's chug these and then get fresh ones.
No.
Because we have to be cognitive for the next 40-ish minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared for like a weird blippy transition of me going to get a drink. Or I'll just let it run and have you scream across the house.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Maybe the next drink will just be a busy for me as well. Because I've had 3 of
our themed cocktail.
Our themed cocktail, yeah. Oh, let's introduce ourselves first. Hi, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah, you are.
And this episode
something. What?
I think I've lost count.
58?
Sure.
Ever since we went to one a week, I used to be like, I would know.
Yeah.
That Tuesdays were odds and Fridays were evens.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have no idea.
Me neither.
We're not at 69 yet.
Damn it.
Is that going to be like the last one of the year? That'd be really funny, actually.
I don't know.
It's got to be close.
I don't know, because we might wind up doing a 2-parter at the end of this month.
Oh, 2 in 1 week?
Mm-hmm, we're seeing. Oh, I'm so tired.
That'd be fun for people.
Yeah. So, the theme, the cocktail that we chose, that we discussed in the last episode, is Hungarian themed. This is the topic originated in Hungary. And so we did some cursory research. There is one drink we did not have access to or the ability to find quickly, which is Hungary's national drink.
Which is the plum brandy?
Nope.
No, you're talking the...
It's Zwax Unicum.
Yep.
I'm just going to leave that there. I'm just going to pause, let you really take that in.
Yep.
Unicum.
Yep, and then falls asleep. Sorry.
Apparently it tastes like Jaeger.
Ugh, I'm glad we didn't find that.
Yes. And so we also found out that brandy's kind of a big deal.
She's a fine girl. What a good wife she would be.
It makes you a good wife, I guess. I think the first 5th that I finished by myself was brandy.
But it's only like 30%.
Yeah, it's not that impressive. Yeah. So they like brandy, and then we did some cursory research, and we found a Harry Potter themed
Hungarian horntail. The one that I actually found wanted you to use dry ice and make it like spooky and like smoke out the top.
We don't have time for that nonsense.
No.
We're real alcoholics here.
Yeah, that's like
what 25-year-olds do. We're like, oh, it's so pretty. And by the time you hit 32 and have seen some shit, you're like, nah, give me shots.
You'd be like, if I'm drinking,
efficient.
I want to have a buzz.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Yes.
I'm not drinking to be cute.
Yeah. No. that's a decade ago.
Yeah.
We're grown-ups now.
I'm drinking one night a week. I'm not doing it to have a cutesy drink.
Now we're doing it to to just chug down the ghosts.
Yeah, I plan on having copious amounts of caffeine tomorrow. Yep. We've committed.
Oh God, I'm training people tomorrow.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's fine. You'll be alright.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Not my people.
Make some hash for breakfast and a strong cup of coffee.
Yep.
You'll be alright.
So the cocktail is the Hungarian horntail cocktail, and we used blackberry brandy,
because we couldn't find plum.
We couldn't find plum. Plum or apricot are like the staples for like the favorite. It seems to be for the brandy in Hungary.
Hungarians.
And so it has the raspberry plum,
Blackberry brandy.
Blackberry brandy. It has simple syrup and ginger beer.
Yep.
And the one we found sounds very Hungarian.
And being diabetic, I looked at all those ingredients. As I said, I can't have any of those.
Nope.
Brandy's got sugar in it. Simple syrup. Simple syrup is liquefied sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And ginger beer also has copious amounts of sugar in it.
Yes.
So I went the diabetic route and I had gin, which is also not fruity, but it's herbally.
Well, that was how the Unicum was described as an herbal and spice based liquor.
Yeah, so I was like, whatever. I'll do gin and some Diet Burners, which if you're not from Michigan, you probably don't even know what Burners is, but it's ginger soda. So I went with some of that, and it was the zero. Also, if you're keto, might I suggest some
monk fruit.
No. Well, the zero sugar diet, whatever, Burners. A little bit of, by a little bit, I mean 2 shots of Tanqueray gin, and then some monk fruit, and it is delicious.
And 0 carbs.
And 0 carbs.
Look at you go.
Look at me go.
Yep.
And then we had all the chicken tacos. Now we're ready to record.
Yep.
We digressed.
Yes.
Longly.
I just wanted some fun stuff at the beginning before I get to this really horrible, terrible
stuff. She has
stuff.
been telling me, like, the whole day, she's been typing her whole afternoon. She's like, this is miserable. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yep. So we had...
build the disappointment.
We had all the shits and gigs last week.
We did. Yeah. Last week's was Big Bobby the Doll.
Yep.
Okay.
And Roberto, his little chihuahua.
Yeah, Roboito. Yeah. Thank you, Waterboy. I never made a Waterboy reference that whole episode either.
I'm so proud of you.
Why? I made the Roboito joke.
Yeah.
It's your father, Roboito. No?
That's a deep cut.
From Waterboy?
I don't remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's okay.
I just remember Delacourt. What's her name?
Delacourt?
Yeah, wasn't that her last name?
Vicky Valancourt.
Oh, Valancourt. Ah, so close.
Come on.
Ah, the 90s.
Consider me Miles Davis.
So we got all the giggles out.
Was Waterboy from the 90s?
Or early aughts. One of the two.
Early 2000s.
Look, you're not with the kids. It's early aughts.
If you weren't born in the early yachts, you have to say early 2000s.
Early aughts, as in 00, as
yachts,
an aught.
as a 30-footer.
I wish.
A yak.
So, I just wanted to start this episode out with a massive trigger warning.
Okay, for all the Hungarians out there.
No.
Everybody.
Okay. Already
The
upset.
drink break's going to come sooner than I anticipated.
So, suicide is mentioned, like a lot, like it's the topic, in this episode.
Okay.
So, now's the time to stop if it's too much for you. Maybe get some help. So, you want to make sure that you're in a good state of mind. And
safe word ocelot.
And if this is something that you struggle with, there's no shame in getting help that you need. So I'm going to insert the number to the National Suicide Hotline, which is 1-800-273-8255. There's also the website you can go to, which is suicidepreventionlifeline.org. So if you need like long-term help, that's like immediate help. If you need long-term help, I highly suggest Psychology Today, which has a great like search option to look for therapists. You can search by like your need, your concern, your values, insurance, everything.
Location and everything, right?
Yep, everything. So then there's also the SEC has actually designated in like July of 2020 when like shit hit the fan and everybody was like, this is awful. They designated a 3-digit phone number, kind of like 911, 411, all that.
Yeah.
It's 988, which will immediately transfer you to that National Suicide Prevention Hotline.
Oh, because it's a horribly hard thing to remember.
Yeah. Well, it's like 1-800-273-TALK, but like anybody underneath the age of like 25 has no clue what that has to do with anything.
Oh, how that works.
Yeah.
Like, what's 1-800-COLLECT?
So there's letters that correspond with certain numbers.
Yeah.
And that's how you used to text people.
On a rotary phone, you would use that.
Or on like your T9 texting.
Oh, no, I can do that in my pocket.
Yeah. Dangerous. I was going to make a finger joke, but I decided to not.
Throttle back on that?
Yeah. So with that being said, don't come at us if the jokes get dark and if they get bad.
You've been warned?
Yes, you've been warned. And if you've been through the thick of it all, you kind of come out with a dark sense of humor, so hopefully you get it. You're also listening to a horrible podcast, so.
Also, because I can't. What is the name of that Zac Efron documentary on Netflix where the safe word ocelot comes from?
Down to Earth?
Down to Earth? Anyway.
It's something like that.
Sorry. I just was
good.
trying to make the point of it, and then I was like, I don't even remember what that show was called. It was interesting, yeah.
It was really good.
I think it was, Down to Earth.
Yeah. Very heartwarming.
Anyway, I was trying to think of that one.
Yeah, if you need a good juxtaposition from this podcast, highly recommend going and trying to find that. It's Zac Efron, Down to Earth, or something like that. It will give you a little bit of hope for the future.
Yes.
Unlike this.
Right.
So let's get started. So today I'm going to tell you about the Hungarian suicide song. It was titled Gloomy Sunday. Or if you prefer the original... Is this
like Helter Skelter?
Look, Helter Skelter is just
I know.
Manson being a schizophrenic, crazy, manipulative...
I couldn't not make that joke though, right?
Yeah. Okay. One's self-murder and the other one's
other murder. Self-murdered?
Yes, suicide is killing yourself.
I know. Just
in case you didn't know.
No.
Now you do.
Thank you. Okay. This whole episode makes sense. We should have started with that.
So if you prefer the direct translation from Hungarian, it's The World is Ending.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That's cheerier.
Yep. So it was written in 1933 by Rezo Serez, who was a self-taught pianist who actually survived Nazi war camps.
It's pianist, isn't it?
Pianist. Yes.
Pianist is different.
Yep. Rezo Serez, a self-taught pianist.
There we go.
He actually survived Nazi war camps later in life, but he wound up dying penniless in Budapest. So he wrote the original lyrics, but eventually the lyrics were then rewritten by Laszlo Javier, do you think? Are we the only language that has a hard J?
I have no idea.
I also have no idea.
I was trying to think of any town in Hungary that I could think of, and I got nothing.
Budapest.
Is that in Hungary?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard of that.
I give you one.
Cool.
That's all you get.
I was like, I know this is a country I know nothing about.
We are geographical novices.
Is Hungarian its own language? Or do they have
I would assume so.
Okay.
I don't know. Guys, we speak 2 languages here, and that's if you're lucky.
Yes. I just couldn't think of if Hungarian was an official language or if they spoke a different language.
Oh, like some sort of version of like German or something?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay, cool.
Yep. We have a strong educational system.
You're so worldly.
Yeah. Americans. We are the stereotype. We try not to be self-centered, but we kind of got thrown into that. Sorry. We apologize.
We're learning through this podcast.
Trying. If you know better, you do better.
Okay.
Anyway.
I can get behind that.
Okay. Good. So Laszlo rewrote it, turning it into a song for a dead lover.
All right.
Yep.
As you do.
Yep. So Gloomy Sunday was written after Serez went through a terribly rough breakup while living in Paris after his girlfriend told him he needed to get a job since songwriting was not like really working out for him.
Mm-hmm.
So the song is kind of like a meandering sort of piano tune that has a lot of instrumentals. It was written in like G or C minor, depending on what source you're reading.
Oh, good, because as a musical savant as myself.
Most songs are played in just whatever key or a major. The creepy music that you hear in like horror films or really depressing, those are usually in minor. So it gives that sort of like slightly falling, slightly off to the ear sort of sound. So I already went through that because I knew you were going to know, so I wrote down a little blip about it, except I already know that minors make things sound sad. So that sort of aids to the overall sort of depressive mood of the song. So it's described as having a, quote, sort of terrible, compelling despair about it.
This is when everybody's pausing the podcast, opening Spotify, and typing in what?
Gloomy Sunday.
Gloomy Sunday by... Is it...
You're not... Okay, so if you find it on Spotify, you're only going to hear a lot of piano, like instrumental opening and like some slightly spoken lyrics if you put it in by Rezo Serez. The one you want to look for, which in my opinion, because I listened to a few of them, is the Billie Holidays.
Okay.
So the one by Rezo Serez is going to be in Hungarian, and I believe it might be the actual original lyrics that he wrote, but ones that Laszlo Javier, whomever, wrote. There's a slight mistranslation because English is a shitty kind of language, doesn't have a lot of good descriptive words.
Yes.
But that one's the one that's about the dead lover. Still sad.
Gotcha.
It's a good version. We'll get to them. Anyway, blah blah blah. Already read that. Oh, the terrible and compelling despair quote came from the first publisher who denied publishing the song. So the second publisher finally took it on. After a year of writing it, he finally got somebody to publish a song for him.
To actually play it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So 3 years after publication, in 1936, there was a rash of suicides.
Holy shit, 1936?
Yeah, it was written in 1933.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed we were in like the 60s.
No. Billie Holiday was in like the 40s.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then there have been some remakes in like the 60s. There's been, I think the most recent remake was in 2002 by an artist that I don't know the name of.
Okay.
Anyway. There was, in 1936, there was a rash of suicides linked directly to the song. Albeit, we should also take into consideration that this song was written during, like, the most depressive time in modern history.
Mm-hmm.
With, like, was smack dab in the middle of the Great Depression. And it was just kind of as, like, WW2 started really ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also in one of the countries with the highest suicide rates in the world until the 1980s. It was also while
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's quite the impressive run.
Mm-hmm. In the 30s, I believe it was ranked 11th out of like the highest suicides in the world, like countries with most. Yeah.
It
is a tiny country.
If you told me where is it at, like if you gave me like
it's by Poland, Germany
globe, I would be like, it's on this section.
It's in Europe.
Yep.
Which is the penis of Asia.
It's west of Russia.
Yes.
Yep. I'm glad.
It took me that long to get to the compass. I was like, no, it's east. Nope.
Also, if you ever go anywhere in a car with Tiff, she doesn't know which way left is, so she's going to point and say, that way.
I have tattoos and rings on now. I know which one's left.
It doesn't matter.
You're right.
2 days ago, we went somewhere and you're like, turn that way. Left? Yes. Okay. We have words for that.
I blame it on being in band.
It's okay. Our 7-year-old knows left and right, so somewhat.
Mostly. Okay.
Hey, she knows her months. Come on.
Yes, she rattled those off. So it was also written under a fascist dictatorship.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy died in like the 40s, and then everything got slightly better. Except like then they're also worried about invasion from like Hitler and shit. So you know they got rid of the fascist dictator, and then they were worried about invasion from another fascist dictator.
Also, quick side note, if we ever start a restaurant, one of our appetizers is going to be loaded tater tots, and we're going to call it a tater ship.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's just going to be like nachos with chili and cheese, or tater tots with with chili and cheese and jalapenos on it, and it's be called a tater ship. And it's going to come in a boat.
No one take it.
Or if you do, just shamelessly plug us hard.
Yeah, make sure you put our name underneath it.
Yes. The Tell Me Something Terrible Tater Ship.
Yep.
Okay.
So, so there was one Vienna 14...
Sausage?
No.
Who doesn't love canned meat?
I got peer pressured into eating a Vienna sausage when I was like 19 years old. Yeah, straight out of the can. Yeah. No. No. It was, so the guy that Murphy was dating at the time, his brother was like, they were like, try it. I'm like, no, those things look like little chody dicks. I'm not going to eat one. They're gross.
They're child fingers.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't. And it was when I was working at Family Dollar too. I was like, I cannot eat that. And they were like, peer pressure. And they just kept shoving the Vienna sausage in my face. So I was like, fine, I will eat it. And it was awful and grainy and gross.
If it was between a Vienna sausage
or dying, I would die.
No. Or a sausage like the dog treats. I don't know which one I'd eat first.
100% the sausage.
Because they are.
I wouldn't even feed our dog that.
They're equivalent. Like one's just a rehydrated version of the other one.
Oh, God.
Like if you soaked a sausage in water.
That's not water. That's
it becomes a Vienna sausage.
Oh.
Sausage.
Vienna sausages.
Yes. Okay.
This podcast is brought to you by. So the Vienna There was one.
Sorry, I took your Vienna and just ran it hard into the ground.
And it's going to get really bad because it was a 14-year-old girl who was found clutching the sheet music to the song while she was floating in a river.
That's no good.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you got those jokes out now.
Glad I got those rehydrated sausage jokes out. Now that there's
a rehydrated human.
A teenager floating in the water. Cool. Thank you for not throwing up we need to have hand signals of no, stop. It's gonna be bad in a minute.
Nope.
It's gonna be bad.
We gotta get the jokes in before they get real dark.
Yeah, but if they're gonna age that poorly.
Literally 1.5 seconds.
Yes.
Just aged like barefoot wine.
Barefoot wine?
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually had any barefoot wine.
We did one time, remember? When I was trying to be cute and we turned 21. And I got a ladder and I made us strawberries and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like...
It was like green apple barefoot wine.
We didn't even drink wine.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
It was awful. Just my parents were like, the only one that's good to drink is this, and they drink sugar bombs. So I was like, this is good enough, and I got a Pinot
I thought
Grigio,
Keystone Light was good, and I knew barefoot was bad. Okay, that was college me.
Look,
that was bad times. Anyway,
I'm the worst romantic.
Keep reading your horrible story. The drink break's coming soon.
So apparently, drowning in rivers was a popular way for those suffering after listening to the song to go. Several people were rumored to have thrown themselves into the Danube. That's the cat.
Yeah, I can see her. The Danube?
Danube? Is that how it's said?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Do you know where that's at?
In Europe?
Yes, I took the liberty to really pinpoint it.
It's that and the Thames. Thames.
That's in France.
Yeah, but those are the two main rivers, isn't it? In Europe?
I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. This one, the Danube.
There you go.
It starts. It starts in the Black Forest in Germany, and it runs through 10 different countries.
Oh, is that where the ham comes from?
The Black Forest ham?
Yes.
Yes. There's just pigs running wild.
Giant pigs that they slaughter and bring
they
to
snipe
the US.
They snipe them from the trees.
Yes. They bring them here, and that's where deli meat comes from.
Yep.
Not from weird meat presses. No. Not from Play-Doh meat.
I wanted to research deli meat, but it took me down a wormhole I was unwilling to go down. Which is impressive, because I went down this wormhole.
I love deli meat, but because I've switched and tried to not eat as much fake food, I can't go back. I don't know if I can eat deli meat. Just don't do it.
Don't even look at the ingredients.
Don't Google. No, it's fine.
We're all gonna die anyway.
It's convenient and tasty, so I get it.
Yeah.
But it's still weird.
So the Danube runs through 10 different countries.
See?
Including
France.
Hungary. Yeah. No, because it goes this way and it empties into some sea that I forgot to write down. Doesn't matter.
Where's the Baltic Sea?
I don't know.
Okay, good. I love geography. And you guys that listen love long pauses while we look at each other eye to eye and go, I don't fucking know. You were supposed to know. Is it Baltic Avenue in Monopoly?
Yes.
Is the Baltic Sea in Europe?
Yes.
You keep reading. I'm Googling the Baltic Sea. So
there were people also found with the lyrics on the floor below their feet.
Okay, that's I thought they were going to be listening to it on repeat, but then 1930s, they don't have the option to play a song on repeat.
They do.
Hold on. The Baltic Sea is an arm of the Atlantic Ocean closed by Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Russia, Sweden.
So it's in the upper.
Yeah, I was really hoping we'd get to it. The largest island in the Baltic Sea is called Goatland, and we have to figure out what happened on Goatland.
All right. I'll add that to the list.
Yes, thank you.
So a lot of people were found clutching either lyrics or sheet music, or it was found at their feet.
Okay.
Because they were hanging.
So it's kind of like a suicide note.
Yeah.
Sorts. Okay.
Yes. So there was one man who told his loved ones that he couldn't get the song out of his head. He was found later with a shot to his head. A gunshot to his head. Did
he carve the lyrics on the bullet, all dramatic like?
No, that would have been the way to go.
Poetic.
Just Gloomy Sunday.
Yes.
Don't worry, we'll get to the poetic eventually. So
I'm trying to keep a positive attitude. It's hard.
Already going downhill.
Yep. I'm getting what little jokes I can in because I know it's not. It's just going sideways.
It's bad, yeah. Mm-hmm. So after the lyrics were translated into English, there were reports of suicide in the suicides in the U.S. and London that were linked to Gloomy Sundays. There was a woman who died of an overdose, and she was found with the song still playing over and over again on her record player.
Okay, there we go.
So yes, there was at least one.
I didn't realize there was a repeat option on record player.
There's single episodes, and I'm sure they have the arm where it gets to the end and then goes and comes back and like starts over again. You know, she probably had money. And I hit the mic and made all different sorts of noises, so I apologize.
You're also doing your sound of
horrible.
The record player starting over was like you like hawking up a loogie, so that's fine. If you bump the mic, it's probably for the best.
Probably. So there was also a woman in New York who requested the song to be played at her funeral, and in 1982, not 1982, don't know what year. An 82-year-old man jumped from the seventh-story apartment building. Mm-hmm. So the song lyrics are also reportedly found inside of suicide notes left by others, like this one shopkeeper in Budapest who hung herself. She was in that first wave of suicides. There was lyrics in her note. So those lyrics can get pretty depressing. The original Hungarian lyrics that were written by Ceres before they were rewritten by Laszlo, they were much more of a political statement regarding sort of like the times. Mm-hmm. So those lyrics include things such as meadows are colored red with human blood.
These are the cheery versions, or the
This is the more sad versions.
These are the Laszlos.
These are the original ones. The original ones written by Ceres, which are more like a political statement to the times.
Okay.
It's just talking about
I was just confirming
the end of the world.
Okay, these are the OG lyrics.
Yep. So these include meadows are colored red with human blood. There are dead people on the streets everywhere. And it is autumn and the leaves are falling and all love has died on earth.
Okay.
Positive outlooks.
Yeah. Good headspace when you're writing those.
Yep. And then, but Laszlo's lyrics aren't any cheerier. They include Dearest, which is the one that you can, all of the rewritten and sort of covers are done by. So these include Dearest, the shadows I live with are numberless. Little white flowers will never awaken you. And gloomy is a Sunday with shadows. I spent it all. My heart and I have decided to end it all. Depressing. Yeah.
Sounds
sad enough?
Fairly suicidal, yeah.
So eventually the song was banned by the BBC after Billie Holiday recorded a version of the song in 1941. Mm-hmm. This is one of the most popular covers. But the reason for the ban isn't necessarily, at least not officially given, as like the suicide rates. It was due to the fact that it was so melancholy that her version of the song was said to have an unhealthy effect on the morale of the people while they were fighting in the Second World War. So like, this is overly depressing, and we need people to be like gung-ho about going off to war.
It's not a motivational song.
Yeah, so they were like, nope, we're done.
Stop hitting them in the fields.
Yeah.
We need them to be soldiers.
Yes, they cannot have fields. Mm-mm. So the BBC airwaves did allow the instrumental version of it to be played, just not a lyrical version of the song, especially Billie Holiday's, because she's got that like sad crooner, like female, like
hit you in the feels even if she's singing like Happy Birthday.
Yeah. Like you'll just be like, I'm gonna go cry in a corner now.
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes you want to open a plum brandy and just forget about your day.
Yes. So some Unicum.
Yes.
On the rocks.
Hey, these people needed a Unicum. Everyone get together.
So it was also allegedly banned in Hungary itself after the first initial wave of suicides in 1936.
They're on a hunger strike. No?
A Hungary strike?
Yeah, that was the joke. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you...
You had to spell it out for the people.
You explained it, yes.
And it was also allegedly banned in France and on some radio stations in the U.S. But those bans can't really be corroborated. It's just part of like the rumors. Mm-hmm. But Billie
Rumor has it.
Yes. So Billie was also kind enough to take the edge off of the original song by adding a third stanza. So after all the really depressing stuff about how like they're gonna off themselves because their lover died, her optimistic turn was these lyrics.
It's like the secret chorus to Thunder Rolls.
Yes.
Yes. The live version.
Yes.
Good.
That's a good one.
That goes the
other
direction.
Where she actually kills the guy.
That goes dark instead of light. Yes.
You tell me if it's light.
Lighter.
Yeah. Dreaming, I was only dreaming. I wake and I find you asleep in the deep of my heart.
Find you asleep in the deep of my heart.
Yeah. So the gist is that she had this horrible dream about how like they had died, and then she wanted to die because they had died, and then the end, it was like, oh no, I woke and found you.
It's like if Romeo and Juliet was a dream.
Yes, pretty much. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So this wound up changing the song slightly into that dream world, where the world wasn't completely falling apart and her lover was like still alive.
Yeah.
It's still really super depressing.
Yes.
So then, in January of 1968, Serraz, the composer / writer of the very, very original lyrics, had completed suicide by jumping from his small apartment window.
Was the apartment small or the window small?
The apartment.
Sorry, that is a massive just detail, but that's the part I got hung up on. Was if he squeezed out a little tiny window? Was it really hard? Yeah.
Or was it the only window in his tiny apartment?
Yes. He had 300 square feet and a giant window, or a 3,000 square feet apartment with one tiny little window.
Foot by foot window.
Anyway, not important.
I feel like you wouldn't be able to get it good, he didn't, out the window if it was tiny.
But he didn't, have the song playing or die with the lyrics or anything. He just happened to commit suicide.
Yeah, because he was depressed, because he knew he couldn't write another worldwide hit. And also, there was rumors there was also rumors that the woman that the song was written about had killed herself.
Was it a worldwide hit when he wrote it, really, or it was more the last little version? I feel like
but it was only 3 years later. So he composed it and wrote the song, the song itself, and then Laszlo changed it. But it literally says in his obituary.
So he couldn't. Pardon me. He couldn't I couldn't fight that yawn any longer. So he couldn't deal with the success or the trying to live up to that success all over again.
Well, it's also because at that point, by 68, he knew there was a lot of suicides that were linked to this song or allegedly linked to this song. And they gave him a chance to come to the U.S., tour, get the royalties, all different sorts of stuff. And he was like, no, because this song is ruining people's lives. So he wound up, instead of making any type of money from the song, because it did wind up being really popular, he died penniless in Budapest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super depressed. Because he was like, one, I'm never going to be able to make a better song than that. He wasn't able to make a better song, another hit. And could you imagine the weight? Even if this was all true, could you imagine knowing that there was...
Well, and it's also, if he would have gone and been successful with the song and toured and made a bunch of money, he would never be able to write another song about being
happy or anything.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah.
That's the thing that sucks about this is mass produced. This is one of the first songs that's mass produced about suicide. So
that's a lot of people that go sell out your favorite artist when they're all emo and punk or whatever, and then they get
we know exactly what that's like every band from the early 2000s,
and then they get rich and famous and you're
in 90s and 80s.
Yeah, tell us about how much of a struggle your life is while you're
I want to hear about your I want to hear about your Boulevard of Broken Dreams there, Green Day.
Yeah. Hey, they could have...
They do not have broken dreams anymore.
You could have money problems.
Sure. But at that point, you make that much money, it's your own damn fault.
Right. But it's always tough to relate once they, the third or fourth album's always tough.
Yeah. Well, you still went through that pain. You know? I get, you can still feel isolated. They say money doesn't make you happy, but it'd be nice to have a little bit to pay the bills.
It gives you less to stress about.
Sure. And it gives you more time to really
this
think on those thoughts. This is when we'd like to
thank all our patrons for all their support of this podcast.
We really appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys help us. Just keep us going.
Yep.
Help motivate me to do my one episode a month. You know?
Yeah, you said you were going to research this drink topic. Who did most of the research?
Okay. We talked about that a week ago when I was very drunk and didn't remember. Otherwise, I would have been on this. And who went and bought all this stuff?
The quarter mile up the road?
Yeah.
Oh, you did make 2 phone calls.
Thank you. Yeah, I called 2 different local purveyors of liquor, and neither of them had what we wanted. So I went to my OG and said, give me whatever you got.
Yep.
This is going to be good enough.
And it came through.
Hey,
with a brand new.
I have such a rapport with our local shithole liquor store lady. She's like, if your wife doesn't want this flavor, come back and you can exchange it. And I was like, okay.
Who lets you
do that with liquor?
Nobody.
See? She's like, if she doesn't want this one, just bring it back.
And she knows who I am now because she knows my entire family. And
I've explained that we have a podcast that we do themed drinks for sometimes. So I'm like, I have a weird request. And she goes, you do a lot. Or like, you often do. I was like, thank you.
Because of the Yukon Jack.
Yeah, but I've been up there for other weird shit too, I feel like. Like every time we do like a themed drink, it's always like, so do you have this, like, I know you have like 20 liquors that are your alcoholics come in here and buy, and that's pretty much it. But do you have this? And she's like, no. But we might have something close.
Close enough.
Yep. It's effective. Anyway.
It gets you drunk, and that's all that matters.
Do you have more depressing things to talk about?
I do.
Does Laszlo kill himself next?
No.
Okay.
Just Serez. So, he threw himself out of his small apartment window.
Tiny window.
And it was on a Sunday.
A gloomy one, probably.
Yes. In January?
Oh, 100%. Yes. You don't get a lot of sunny days. I'm assuming their climate. They're
similar to ours.
Yeah, their planet orientation is similar to ours.
Yeah.
It was probably 12 degrees and like that sideways sleet shit.
Hadn't seen sunshine in at least 6 weeks.
And he probably went through Christmas and New Year's single, and he was just over it.
Yep. So
what was that suicide hotline?
1-800-273-TALK.
Just 988.
988.
Yes.
In his obituary, it states that he was depressed and unable to create another worldwide hit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also where you find the source that Gloomy Sunday was banned in some radio stations and dance clubs in the United States.
Dance clubs? Who the fuck
Back in the 40s?
I don't care. There's no point where you're like, will you slow dance the most depressing song written ever to me?
Yeah. About my lover who died?
Yes.
I promise I'm not going to kill you with chloroform tonight.
The DJ just gets done playing like the twist and like, let's slow it down with Gloomy Sunday. Find a partner, everyone. This one's going to make you cry.
And one of you is going to die.
Yeah. Just end of the song, everyone's just weeping into each other.
Someone stabbing someone in the corner.
Era clothing. Yeah.
So he specifically stated, referenced the Paul Robeson version, which is the first person to have translated the song from Hungarian to English and record Gloomy Sunday in English. So the song officially has 19 suicides reported to being directly linked to it.
Okay.
I've seen numbers between 17 and 20, but I got this number, 19, off of a study on pubmed.whatever.nih, which is .gov, mm-hmm. which is a pretty, reputable. That's where you have all your studies and shit. Yeah. But of course, humans are prone to exaggeration, so unofficially, Gloomy Sunday is said to be associated with 20 to 100, upwards to 200 suicides across the globe. This song also has 79 versions of it. And it has been covered by Billie Holiday, which is the most popular version, in case you hadn't picked up on that. Sinead O'Connor, Sarah McLachlan.
God. That's what we need during a goddamn, pet adoption.
An ASEPA.
Yeah.
Instead of in the arms of the angel, just Gloomy Sunday comes on.
Yeah, just fucking rainy January Sundays and dogs staring out the window. Tiny windows in their apartments.
On their second floor apartment.
Yeah, they're just got two paws out the window.
No, it. You've got so much to live for.
Adoption is key. As our dog looks at us like, what are you guys talking about?
We do have some second story windows we got to keep her from.
Yeah.
They're pretty low to the ground,
too.
They
are. Our house is not safe in that regard.
No, it is not. Oh shit, where was I? Oh, and it was also, yep. So it was also covered by a metal band called Pole Bearer, which I of course listened to.
Oh, like the people that carry out our funeral?
Yes.
They sound like they probably have great music.
I was not impressed. It's very much not new metal like Nickelback new metal, but actual metal.
Nickelback's metal?
It's new metal.
Really?
NU metal. Yes, Nickelback, Linkin Park. System of a Down, it's all considered new metal.
I thought that was just rock to
alternative rock. No, no, they're hitting the edge of that new metal. Anyway, they sound kind of like shitty new metal meets 1980s rock meets Ozzy Osbourne. And so I really wanted it to
Were
be
they
good.
Canadian?
I don't know where they're from. I just wasn't that impressed by it. I wanted some
We're just picking a fight with Canada for no good reason.
I just really wanted some screaming. It just didn't get me there. I was like, this is so close to being right.
How do you spell pallbearer?
Pall.
Is it?
Yeah, right here. Pallbearer.
Pallbearer.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. You can't play more than 30 seconds or we might get sued.
I'm not playing them at all.
It's awful. I wanted it to be good. So there's also the study done by these researchers named Stack.
They're from Little Rock, Arkansas.
No wonder they weren't very good. What happens in Arkansas?
They're not hard rock, they're Little Rock. Oh.
No.
Sorry.
So there was a study done by these researchers named Stack, Krasinska, and Lester. It was published with, that was the study that was published with the NIH, where these researchers were looking into some context to the rumors of the suicides sparked by the song. So Gloomy Sunday is the longest standing and most covered song regarding this specific topic. So it does have some popularity, but they also posit that there is just a link between people that have tendencies and their attraction to what these people dubbed suicidogenic subcultures.
Okay.
Yep. So they're studying studies from 92, 93, 97, which is fresh out of the satanic panic. So I'm taking a lot of what they say with a grain of salt. Because I hate to break it to you.
Or a circle of salt.
A circle of salt. Because I hate to break it to you. Metal does not cause suicide.
Yeah.
I'm still alive.
Right.
And so they looked into that link with the suicidogenic subcultures, which it's basically art might actually be or talking about it and stuff like that makes people more prone to do it, which I don't necessarily think is true. And so anyway, these cultures include rock and metal subcultures, blues, opera, and I will give you one guess what other genre of music has the suicidogenic subcultures in it.
Hungarian crooners?
Country music.
Oh, it's all depressing as shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's also a lot of people that listen to country music have high alcoholic rates and divorce rates.
And tight jeans.
It really reduces the efficacy of the spermies in the tight jean.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. That's why no one in our generation has more than one baby, because we wore all those skinny jeans and guy liner in the early 2000s.
If every song I listened to was sung in the same key, that would probably be bad for my mental health too. And as someone who has a coworker who listens to nothing but country music in the same key, I will call him out to his face. I don't care. It's horribly depressing.
So they also looked into the Hungarian culture at the time when the song came out. And it actually seems that the Hungarian culture kind of idolized suicide a little bit, had it on a little bit of a pedestal. If you, kind of like the Japanese, where if you fail, just kill yourself kind of thing. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. No.
Hungarian culture had that little bit going on kind of in the 30s and 40s.
Do they have any religious, I don't even know what the predominant religion would be in Hungary.
I would imagine it's Catholic.
Probably.
Yeah.
I assume they don't have any sort of reincarnation or afterlife type reasoning behind it.
I have no idea.
There's no Valhalla in Hungary.
No, I have no clue. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're Americans. We
Come
only
on,
concentrate on
you are
us.
supposed to know every worldly fact about whatever country you speak on.
Look, I'm trying.
Right?
Not doing very good.
No.
Novice over here.
Right.
And they also, again, took into consideration the socio-political goings-on, wars and fascism and famine and stuff.
I like how you drop a 5-cent word and then say goings-on afterwards.
Goings-on is the grammatical correct way to say it.
I'm aware. You just, when you slap it on the back of a very highly educated word, it sounds like a fall-off. That's all I'm saying.
Look, this is the way
it's the juxtaposition of the sentence that caught me off guard.
I enjoy those sort of things. It's like how I can sound like I'm an intelligent human being and then drop the C word like it's nobody's business.
I'm married to you. I obviously enjoy that about you.
I hope so. Otherwise, this is going to get real awkward.
Sometimes it catches me off guard. You're like, herba-derba-derb goings on, and I was like, those two don't match up.
There was no other word. Look, I wrote this pretty quickly.
Did you? Good.
Yes.
I was cleaning out a barn while you did it. So that's a peek into our Sundays.
We have lots of barns.
Yes.
So, anyway, finally, because it was banned in the BBC, for sure, they know that 100%. Other countries, not so much, but for sure the BBC. Finally, in 2002, after it was banned in 1941, the BBC finally lifted the ban on the Billie Holiday version of the song and other lyrical versions of the song, with the first recorded playing of it in October of 2003.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you can find it on Spotify. Super depressing.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to say, like, Adele's covered it recently.
Oh my god, could you fucking imagine? Please, Adele.
Why?
Because it would be so good. I want to cry in the bathroom, in the shower to it, just like I do only once a month now. It's a lot better.
Good. It's good to channel that. You gotta have a good cry.
I do. Let it all out.
Yeah.
And once a month is way better than it was when I was a teenager, so.
It could be because you're also in a 108-degree shower and your skin's melting, and that's why you're crying.
Not
but that's
at all.
just good because you're female.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I have to do sources, and I threw my paper on the ground. Hold on. Pause for squeaky chairs.
No, you're fine. Just roll backwards. You're fine. We also just recently deep cleaned our carpets at 11 o'clock on a Thursday, so the carpet, it wasn't even squeaky. It's probably because of the clean carpets.
It is. Look. Okay.
Nobody cares. Read your sources.
Cares.
I was here. I was losing sleep because of it.
But our carpets are so clean.
So clean.
So the sources are a study from the PEB?
Nope.
Oh my god.
The PED?
I'm not even that drunk.
The PEDMUB.
The PEDMUB.
Yes.
The PubMed website, public medicine website.
Okay.
Which is on the NIH, which is the National Institution of Health.
Okay.
.gov.
Will you explain a few more
nerdy things?
For me? Yes.
Love to. Anyway, the study Gloomy Sunday, did the Hungarian suicide song really create a suicide epidemic? Snopes.com, historyofyesterday.com, the song that caused 100 suicides, and then worldofpoetry.livejournal.com. My sources went from legit to not so legit real fast. Which is Gloomy Sunday, the Gloomy Sunday entry, and then treblezine.com, Blood on the Tracks, and billieholiday.com, the Gloomy Sunday entry, and the lyrics. And then, of course, the Curse Objects book by J.W. Ocker.
This makes me want to listen to Sunday, Bloody Sunday, and Sunday Morning Coming Down, and then Gloomy Sunday, and see which one makes me want to just go lay in the road more. All of them.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Boy, Sundays are rough. And people are like, oh, Mondays.
No.
How about you get through a Sunday?
Oh, my God. Do you want me to cover the Mondays are rough thing?
No. Do you want to?
Yeah, it's on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't like Mondays. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that like, some sort of... People, if you haven't heard
it's the first, big school shooter.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was on...
I just don't like Mondays.
It wasn't a dollop.
No, it was MFM.
MFM? Yeah.
A last podcast on the left did it. Last people done it. It's a classic.
We found out during the last collaborative podcast with Beth and Jamie, they'd never heard of Dyatlov Pass.
What the fuck?
Remember?
It's on my list. Don't. You're not allowed to do it, period.
No, that's fine. It just, so we're like, oh, it's been on every podcast. We have a lot of people that listen to our podcast, at least our friends, that don't listen to a lot of other podcasts that are like this.
Yeah, we'll have a list of classics.
We try to do these obscure, less popular topics, but we got to have a heavy hitter once a month or something, just because
we'll hit up some.
There's certain things I never heard about until I started listening to podcasts, and if you only listen to we're not true crime specifically, but if we're the only
horrible.
That version of podcasts you listen to, then there's stuff we can talk about and if it is more famous, I think they're famous for a reason. They're kind of
they're classics.
And I won't be as depressed because I know how it ends. Or I'll be more depressed because I know how it ends.
Or you'll have the jokes already there, in your subconscious.
And it's
from.
The first bonus pod we did, and it was about the local murder, and you had known at least about it.
Yeah.
It's easier to get excited about it. So yeah.
And then get to the stupid details where you're like, so what?
Yeah, exactly.
Some dude got shot in the road.
But
someone else got axe murdered?
Well, we released that one already anyway, so.
Oh yeah, we did.
That's the only Patreon only one that's now general public because we had a tornado in the Midwest, pretty much.
Northern Midwest.
Yes, in the middle mitten.
Which is unusual.
All right, you never finished your drink.
I didn't.
I've been out of drink for like 40 minutes.
All right.
The struggle has been real, but
it's been rough. So
we got through it.
Yeah, if you've made it this far,
congrats. And
this was really heavy, and we're sorry.
Okay, it was heavy, but it wasn't as heavy. Like sometimes you'll bob and weave between like multiple heavy topics. This one was at least like you presented it up front and then you ran with that not run with it, but like that was like the main theme of the whole thing. So it's easier.
Look, I've been making suicide jokes my whole life, so I'm an expert.
I feel like it's easier to digest if it's like just one horrible thing repeatedly.
Yeah.
When you're like, it's everything
escalating.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, it was. And when you like were saying like the 14-year-old girls, like, oh, if this goes down that path, like if it's like teenagers, I'm like, this is gonna be.
No, there was one other attempted suicide in Michigan who was a teenager, but he lived through it. There was a couple of suicide attempts that were mentioned.
But no, it's easier if it's what to expect.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And heavy, touchy subject topics like this, I like to.
Yeah, preface it.
Yeah,
100%.
because I personally don't like suicides just being thrown at me like willy-nilly. I want to be mentally prepared for that topic.
Yeah, when you're like coming into it and you don't know. Because we'll probably name this like
something stupid.
Tiny window jumper or something dumb like that. Or small, I don't even remember.
Small apartment window?
Yes, the small apartment window. And then, and you'd be like, I don't even know what this is about. Because our topics, the titles of our podcast, that's like the only part I have to contribute. So I put a lot of thought into them. And sometimes they're awesome. Willy-nilly truck driver is going to be my favorite forever.
We use that in common conversation, and people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. If you say willy-nilly in our house,
it's immediately followed by truck driver.
100%. And we think
and
it's
where'd
funny.
You go?
We think it's
funny.
It is
specifically a car.
Yeah. It's just for us. If you're with us and we say it, we don't care if you don't think it's funny. We're not saying it for you. Anyway, but so...
We're not doing this for you either. This is just for us, guys.
Yes. This is all cataloging. So when our kid's like 18 and she's like, oh, my parents are stupid.
You really don't know how stupid.
Let me listen back to my formative child years and hear them just talk about me like I'm not there because I'm sleeping upstairs while they
talk about suicide.
Talk about the worst fucking things on the planet. Great. It's cool. I wonder how I turned out the way I am 10 years later. But anyway, thanks for listening.
Yes. Thank you.
Today's Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
So I'll edit this tomorrow, and you'll get it Tuesday morning, and enjoy.
Yes.
Yes. This was not a cursed object, by the way.
Look, I said we were playing fast and loose.
That's okay. Just last week, we promised everyone a series on cursed objects.
Look, technically, when you look at the modern day and what
if you had the record of it, I guess it would be
Yes, exactly. It started out as a record, and it is still something that was made from a human mind that can be mass-produced on different types of devices, technically. You gotta kind of look at it objectively, what you want to quantify as an actual object. And today, they're selling memes online for 2.5 billion bitcoins. So fuck you, a song's as an object.
2.5 billion bitcoins. Oh, is that real? 2.5 billion bitcoins.
Bitcoins are one equals thousands of dollars. So probably.
It's like six.
What are they called? NFWs or something like that?
I don't know.
They're bullshit.
NFS.
It's the biggest fucking scam since MLMs.
NFS is not for sale. Anyway, let's digress. We're going to go make one more drink.
Sounds good.
Talk about Bitcoin because we don't understand it, and then pass out.
And I studied business.
Business.
It's a joke.
Business.
Don't invest.
A lot of people love it.
Don't give a shit. It's a joke.
We are not an investment podcast. Do what you want with your money.
No.
Don't invest in this podcast. Our stock portfolio does not like. I'm just kidding.
No, it does not.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.
Oof, that was terrible.